Hey, lovely people. It is your girl, Kia Simone. I am here for another episode of Storytime. Are you guys ready for tonight's story? Well, I am. So, tonight's story is The Time I Fell Hard for Mr. DJ. Yes. So, let me just give you the background. So I hope you guys grabbed you a cup of tea, or whatever you want to sip on tonight, and let's just have story time. So, how this story begins, a little background information. Um, I was going through a little breakup and it was just like, okay, a little heartbroken. And you know, the old saying, the best way to get over a man is to get under a new one. Well, I don't believe that today, but back then I was young and just who ready to get it, okay? So I didn't have a lot of, rules back then. So that was my motto. The best way to get over a man is to get under a new one. So, you know, I had just went through a little breakup. I thought this was going to be the love of my life. So things did not work out. So let's talk about my friend Toya. So Toya was the homie that kept the party going. Toya, you can always count on her for knowing where all the parties around the city were at. Now, keep in mind, if you want to know where we're at, we're in the city of Detroit, okay? Where the parties last all night. Because if once one party closed, the legit party, we're going to the after party, okay? And you don't know where those may and lead you. So, Toya was my good friend, okay? So I was like, again, you watched any of the other story times? Yeah, I was a little sheltered. So hooking up with Toya gave me a lot of exposure. I got that real quick lesson by just hanging out with Toya. So just doing all the club stuff with Toya, I started learning which clubs were popping and which ones were not. So Toya and I were at a particular club one night. So the club names will remain anonymous because I don't want you guys to figure out who Mr. DJ is. But Mr. DJ, ooh wee, okay? So one night we were at this club on the west side. Hint, hint, it was somewhere near Telegraph. That's all I'll say. So we were in there just hanging out, having a good old time. And then I locked eyes with Mr. DJ. Oh my gosh. He was just a whole bunch of chocolates, okay? Oh my gosh. It's something about a man that's on the ones and twos, okay? I was like, who is that brother? So, you know how you're dancing and you're trying to be sexy? But all along you're trying to make contact. So I see all the other chicks in the club checking out Mr. DJ, and I see them going up to the DJ booth requesting their song. So what reminds me of Mr. DJ was that song back in the day. You remember Johnny? Hey, Mr. DJ. I ain't gonna sing for y'all because I ain't a singer. But y'all remember that song. But yeah, Mr. DJ had it going on, okay? So we at the club to club. We shut, when me and Toya hung out, we would shut the club. Okay. We were young. That's when you didn't need sleep. Okay. We had jobs. So we would go to our jobs, make our money, and then we would hit the clubs and we would hang out until the birds were chirping. That's how long we hung out. But this particular night, we were at a regular club. This wasn't an after hour. So, we was in there. And so when the club, the last call for alcohol, we're still in there. Toya's like, okay, it's time to go. Let's go. So I'm still looking at Mr. DJ. Okay. So I was like, okay, come on. So he was taking, a while to pack up his stuff, his records, because back in the day, that's when they had those records. So that was a real job in itself that you had to pack up all those records and take them out to your car. So when Toya and I were on our way out, who do we run into? Mr. DJ. Yes, all that chocolate I was telling you about earlier. So I'm like, my opportunity. So Mr. DJ, he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" He was speaking to me or whatever. And I was like, letting him know, like, yeah, you can get this. Uh-huh. I wasn't fast like that. He wasn't gonna get it that night, but I was letting him know, I see you. I see you, boo. I know you see me too. So, Mr. DJ, we exchanged numbers and he was like, nice meeting you. We, kicked it for a quick minute, but he was, like, I gotta, get these albums out to my car, close up. Okay, that's what's up. So guess what? We gotta come back here next week. So now I'm dragging Toya back over to the west side, okay? Because we gotta see Mr. DJ again, okay? I'm like, girl, yes, all that chocolate. I need to see it again. So we go back in there. So this time, again, I'm making eye contact with him again. Like, I see you, so I'm on the dance floor. Now, me and Toya, we were not strangers to the nightclub life. We were, club hoppers, okay? We was from east to west, wherever the party was popping, that's where me and Toya was at, okay? So, he, made sure he let me know that he seen me. And then, he, talked to me. We had a minute to talk again at the club. So, after a while, it was like, okay, we became familiar after, becoming a regular at that particular club. So again, I'm still crushing on Mr. DJ. So, in the midst of that introduction with Mr. DJ, let's, for the sake of the story, let's just call her Shantae. So, Shantae was in the service right after high school. So, Shantae, she was like, she wanted better for her life, just put it that way. And she, when she decided to go to the service, she was like, I don't see anything in Detroit for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and head out. So, when she did her time in the service, she ended up coming back to visit her family, whatnot. So, okay, Shantae, we gotta hit the clubs. So, Shantae, meet Toya, Toya, Shantae. We the three amigos. And it was kind of cute because we were all different sizes. We had Toya, which was the slim one, okay? Slim, but with the body, okay? And then you had me that was the in between. And then we had Toya. Now, Toya was thick and Toya was stacking, okay? Toya had booty for days. You just walk past, you're looking, okay? So now we're the three amigos around, around town. You see one, you see the other. That's just what we did. So now Shantae, she wasn't really pressed about Mr. DJ. So when I finally, introduced her to Mr. DJ, she was like, girl, he over there looking like a little mouse. I said, girl, don't be talking about my man. It's my man's, my man's, my man's. So I don't know what it was, but it was just something about when he would be on those ones and twos. So I would drag Shantae and Toya around the city. Wherever he was playing, that's where we were gonna be. So it may sound a little stalkerish because the ex, if you go back to the beginning of the story, when I said the best way to get over a man is to get under a new one. Well, the ex got wind that, I was crushing on Mr. DJ. Because, things get around, people be peeping stuff. They peep what they want to peep. So, I was just like, I'm feeling Mr. DJ in my head, but the ex like, oh, you're stalking him. How do you know? Who are you? Go worry about your little things that you messing with, boo. So, how I feel hurt for Mr. DJ. Well, eventually after, becoming, regular on the club scene, we would just sometimes also end up at the same club, not just purposely sometimes. So to make a long story short, we were talking on the phone outside of the club, hanging out, outside of the club. And eventually we became, we had a little, relation. Now I wasn't his girl. I'm never gonna say that I was his girl. That's a whole nother story. Knowing what I know now, you have to set up expectations of what you want out of a relationship. Now, Mr. DJ was way older than me. When I say way, nowadays you don't really consider that old, but he was 10 years my senior. So Mr. DJ, he was vibing with me and he probably just wanted to, play with that little young thing because I was a little young thing. Everything was perky, everything was good over here. So, Mr. DJ, being 10 years my senior, he was probably like, okay, let me rock with this for a minute. But, after hanging out with Mr. DJ, I was like, Mr. DJ. So I'm just hanging out with him, and we're having, hot, passionate sex, And I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like feeling Mr. DJ. But my friend, again, Shantae, was like, I am not feeling Mr. DJ. And I'm tired of going to the clubs that Mr. DJ is at. Girl, get over it. So now this is where the story gets juicy. There was this particular club that's located in downtown Detroit. Okay? That was like where the party was jumping. If you knew anything, you knew where to be, and you were at this club at one point or another during this time period. Okay? So we would go to the club, and this club had hint hint. It was two levels, okay? So there was a main floor when you walk in, and then you can go up the stairs, and that's where the DJ was. So, I would always go check in, and this would make Shantae so mad. Shantae would be like, why do we gotta check in? Like, girl, I'm getting so sick of you and Mr. DJ. So I was like, girl, that's my boo. That is my boo. That's my boo. Because again, by then we was sexing on a regular, okay? Every time the club closed down, we was getting it in, okay? So that was my boo in my mind, at least. So it was what it was. So, y'all know the song Soulful Moaning? That's how I knew that it was time when the club shut down. So I don't know about you, Shantae. And Shantae's song was Tyrese, My Sweet Lady. So, I don't know who she was going home with, but I knew who I was going home with. So when those songs came on, mm-mm-mm-mm. So again, put a pin in it. Y'all remember I said we were not going together, but we was sexing on a regular, okay? So you know how that goes. Feelings start coming out, at least on my end. So now let's go fast forward where the trouble began. So this is the trouble where it all went left. So it is hard to juggle my two friends. So I come to the club with Toya and Shantae every Friday night. Oh yeah. And y'all know old school Sunday? Hint hint. So there was all kind of, days of the week that you just go to the club. So when we go to the club, I always had to make my way to the DJ booth. Okay, baby, I'm here. Okay. So as always, I went upstairs to let the Mr. DJ know I was in the house. Okay. We danced a little bit upstairs, did our thing. Okay, it was all good. So Shantae and Toya really didn't like to be on the upper floor. And I think they knew because they knew I probably was a little bit more tamed when I was right in front of him. So we end up going downstairs. That's where they serve the chicken wings and the food and everything nice. Okay. So we go downstairs. So, oh my goodness, there's a dance contest. Okay. So, y'all remember I said about sizes, right? Yeah, let's talk about sizes. So you remember I said that Shantae was the little bitty old thing, okay? She little, but she could pop it. She could pop her thing, okay? Don't get it twisted because she was little. Okay. And then you remember Toya had the booty for days that like make it clap, bap, 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 bap. Okay. So my girls had it going on. So we get down there. So my girl's tearing up the dance floor. Okay, out of sight, out of mind, right? Mr. DJ's supposed to be upstairs on the ones and twos, right? So yeah, I hear the music. He playing the music. He's on the ones and twos. So my girls got me hyped. So it's something about when your girls on the dance floor tearing it up that you'll be like, let me get in here and get some of this. Let me show you what I'm working with. Oh, y'all remember this song? Work it, work it. Oh, yes. So that was the jam. So you in there just like certain music that you cannot hear. Like I'm older now and I'm a little, reserved, but certain songs I might hear and I might forget that I'm this old and start popping and locking. Okay. So that's why hey, let's talk about that. But anyhow, we down there and we just getting it in. And then I turn around, booty in the air, but I made contact with Mr. DJ. And Mr. DJ looking dead in my face. And he walks away. Oh, Lord, it's over. So I stopped in mid hump. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, Mr. DJ is mad. Now, wasn't he supposed to be up there on the ones and twos? How did he get down there? Who was on the ones and twos? That's my question. Who was on the ones and twos while he down there being a private investigator? Why? Out of all the times that we've been in that club, he ain't never came downstairs. But now tonight he's down there. I bet you it was that hater friend of his. You know, I told you Shantae, she had her little thing, her little boo thing up there too. So Shantae and her little boo thing, he was a DJ too. But he probably went up there and said, your girl down there popping and locking. They down there cutting up. So I don't know, because that was just really strange that he came downstairs and seen me with my booty all up in the air, you know, doing what I do. So yes, booty in the air, booty in the air. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Now again, uh the funny thing is, y'all gotta remember, Tay Tay, Shantae, she never liked him, okay? She was like, again, she said he looked like a little rat, little mouse, or whatever. She never cared for him. But that was my boo thing. So I don't care what you say, girl. That's my boo thing, okay? So she probably was glad he saw us because she was just like, I'm tired of you dragging me around from east to west chasing Mr. DJ. But that was my boo thing in my head. Again, just because we was sexing, back then, I didn't, again, in my head, he was my boo. Okay. Now I know that I wasn't my boo, but in my head. But I wasn't stalking him like the ex said I was. So um I called him that night when I get home. So he left the club. I told you we usually go home and get it in. Nah, not that night. He was just like, I ain't got no tickets for you tonight. So I get home, I call him, after we get home. I don't know who drove that particular night. Because again, we were the three amigos, remember? Toya, Shantae, and me. We were all always together. So I'm calling him. Next day I call him again. He's still not answering me. So this went on for a minute. So finally he answered the phone. You know what this ninja said? This ninja was like, Will, you I knew I took a chance talking to you, but I think it's our age difference because I'm 10 years older than you, and I could, I'm not mad at you for living your life, but I can't be with somebody that's up there pop locking it like that. It's funny now, but basically he was just saying that, I guess he was like, And then he called it my fan club, but he had his own fan club. Like, I'm secure with your fan club because I know at the end of the night we going home together. So it doesn't matter who has the bigger fan club. But I think he was hating because again, we were the three amigos. We did have our little following, okay? So let's just talk about, how he told me it was an age thing, okay? Because he was 10 years my senior. But anyhow, after he said it, my little heart was broken. I was at home singing Deborah Cox. Nobody's supposed to be here. That's how you know you be delusional. I'm at home literally singing nobody supposed I can't even sing. But you guys gotta understand, I was young. And again, that's how I fell hard for Mr. DJ. And I drove my friends crazy because I was like, Mr. DJ and all that chocolate. Mm-mm-mm-mm. And baby, he had like this like hard body because he worked out. Woo, child. Let me tell you. But yes, I was singing Deborah Cox, Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. But that's the time that I fell for Mr. DJ. Now, all love to Mr. DJ because, I had to, toot toot my own horn. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, being a stalker back in the day. So, Facebook, social media, and all that stuff going on. So, we Facebook friends. So one day, I teased him and I was like, yeah, you remember I used to stalk you? He was like, no, never that. So I was like, okay, that's all I needed was clarity. So, I wasn't stalking you. It was mutual love. But, it's all good now. But I hope you guys enjoyed story time, the time I fell for Mr. DJ. And I see you know, my friends, they know who Mr. DJ is. So we're gonna all just keep it a little secret. We're gonna keep it on the hush hush. So what do you guys think? Do you think I should go to lunch with Mr. DJ? And hmm, what y'all think? I don't know. Let bygones be bygones. I think so. So until next time, I just want to say peace. But in the meantime, I do want you guys to get this book. It's for $10 for a limited time, From Pain to Love. Yes, this is the book, From Pain to Love. You can get it on Amazon by Kea Simone. And actually, this chapter got cut out. So I did have a chapter called Mr. DJ, but it didn't make the cut because I ended up with 320 page of fire. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed story time. Stay tuned for another episode. And until next time, peace.